In the vast ocean, where the waves resemble drops of rain from the sea, there are silent warriors facing the harshness of nature. Tuna fishermen. This journey is more than just a livelihood, it's an art, a dramatic chase between man and one of the ocean's most powerful creatures. The tuna, with its strong body, astonishing speed, and fierce survival instincts, has long been a symbol of the ultimate challenge in fishing. Every trip out to sea is a battle, where fishermen must use every skill, ounce of courage, and bit of experience to bring the fish home. As night falls, the flickering lights on the tuna fishing boats look like small flames burning in the endless space. The fishermen prepare for a hunt that can last for hours, sometimes even days. On the boats, fishing lines stretching tens of kilometers are carefully coiled, sharp hooks baited with fresh fish, and the salty, fishy scent fills the air, blended with the smell of sea salt, engine oil, and human sweat. The most common methods of tuna fishing include handline fishing, longline fishing, and trolling with long hooks. Among these, longline fishing is the pinnacle technique, requiring precise coordination of timing, location, and weather conditions. The main fishing line stretches across the sea surface, carrying hundreds, sometimes thousands, of smaller hooks securely fastened. Each hook acts as a small trap for tuna, designed to avoid causing serious injury. These hooks are extremely sharp but still ensure the tuna remain alive and vigorous when hauled aboard. For commercial purposes, the boats move slowly along pre-planned routes, often choosing nutrient-rich currents where schools of sardines and herrings, favorite bait for tuna, gather. Experienced captains rely not on modern maps, but on observing wind direction, water color, and seabird behavior to locate the fish. Sometimes, a flock of seagulls flying low over the water is enough to convince them to drop their lines. After several hours, once the fishing lines have settled deep underwater, the boat comes to a stop. The engine shuts off, and silence fills the air. This is a tense moment, like witnessing a showdown between top fighters. The fishermen sit beside the large coils of line, eyes fixed on the ropes. Suddenly, a sharp snap rings out as the line vibrates under an invisible pull. The shout of "hooked" echoes through the quiet night like an alarm bell. The entire crew instantly springs into action, each taking their position. One grabs the line, another adjusts the anchor, while others prepare to haul the hook and catch the fish. The battle begins. If it's a small tuna, pulling it up isn't too difficult. But if it's a giant bluefin weighing over 200 kilograms, it turns into a life-or-death struggle. The fish races fiercely beneath the water, stretching the line taut, as if trying to tear the boat apart. The fishermen must work in perfect harmony, slowly reeling the line in bit by bit, exhausting the fish while carefully avoiding snapped lines or losing the catch. A moment of distraction, a small mistake, and the fish could break free. Many times, the fish thrashes violently, snapping steel lines and injuring those holding the ropes, blood mixing with the salty sea spray. This scene is all too familiar on the fishing boats. Some fish, once hauled onto the deck, still thrash wildly, forcing fishermen to use wooden mallets or clubs to subdue them. The tuna's body radiates heat, eyes rolling white, tail lashing fiercely, as if declaring it has not yet surrendered. This is a sacred moment, a meeting point between man and ocean, between life and death, victory and sacrifice. But the work doesn't end with catching the fish. Preservation is also an art. After catching the tuna, it must be processed immediately. The belly is slit open, the internal organs cleaned swiftly and carefully, then placed on ice or in cold storage to maintain freshness. On larger vessels, the fish are sent straight to ultra-low freezers at minus 60 degrees Celsius, ensuring quality almost as fresh as when caught, whether destined for Tokyo or New York. Premium bluefin tuna can fetch prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars at famous fish markets in Japan. A worthy reward for the sweat and blood of the fishermen battling the ocean. Handline tuna fishing is the pinnacle of the art of sea hunting, where humans face off against one of the ocean's strongest, fiercest, and smartest fish. There's no machinery involved, no modern fishing rods, just calloused hands, durable fishing lines, patience, and the unyielding spirit of the fisherman. On these small boats, every square meter serves as a workspace, with silence broken only by the sound of waves and the whisper of the wind. The handline tuna fishing journey begins like a sacred ritual for those who have spent their lives connected to the sea. Each fisherman boards the boat carrying neatly coiled lines, sharpened hooks, and fresh, shiny bait, or cut pieces from previously caught fish. The handline is usually made of special nylon, strong, with minimal stretch, capable of withstanding tremendous pulling force, and sometimes wrapped with a protective coating to prevent slipping when hauling the fish alongside the boat. The line's end is tied tightly to a large, sharp, and flexible hook, carefully chosen by the fishermen depending on the type of tuna they are targeting. Tuna are incredibly intelligent fish. They won't easily take the bait if they sense danger. That's why casting the line is more than just throwing it into the water. Fishermen carefully observe the light reflecting on the sea's surface, the distant shadows of bird flocks, and even unusual movements among schools of smaller fish. All signs recorded through hard-earned experience. When they spot tuna swimming near the surface, especially at dawn or dusk, that's the golden moment. The fishermen gently release the line from the boat, letting the bait drift in the mid-water layer, where tuna usually hunt. They grip the line's end tightly, feeling every subtle vibration. A slight wave-like movement or an unusual tug is a signal. Then, when the tuna strikes, the sensation shoots through their hands like electricity. The line goes taut in an instant, fingers burning from friction. Sometimes palms bleed, but the fishermen never let go. The battle begins. No rods, no reels, just strength, endurance, and skillful tactics. A hooked tuna often darts away like an arrow, swimming circles around the boat at dizzying speeds, trying to dive deep to the ocean floor or hide in the waves. If the fishermen pull the line too fast, the fish can snap the line or tear the hook out of its mouth. But if they ease up, the fish might escape. That's why the skill of pulling and releasing the line in rhythm with the fish's strength is essential. The fishermen pull little by little, feeling the increasing weight. Sometimes, even an 80-kilogram tuna can take them over half an hour to subdue. At that moment, the fishermen's entire bodies tense up, sweat pouring down, eyes fixed on the steadily shortening line. Each has their own technique. Some wrap the line around their waist or arm, lying down to use their body weight for leverage. Others stand near the side of the boat, digging their heels into the hull for support. However they do it, the ultimate goal is to bring the fish to the surface and pull it aboard. But tuna, when they break the surface, never surrender easily. They thrash wildly, sometimes leaping high into the air, their silver scales shimmering in the sunlight, creating a breathtaking spectacle. Water splashes everywhere, fishermen shout, and the sound of the taut line all blend into a dramatic moment. Some giant yellowfin or bluefin tuna are so massive that the fishermen have to lean back to maintain their balance. The gaff hook is thrown precisely into the fish's gills or mouth, pulling it onto the boat before it can break free. Some fish get stunned with blows to the head to prevent their powerful tails from injuring the fishermen. When the tuna is finally pulled on board, its body is still warm, eyes glossy, scales sparkling like silver, proof of the ocean's fierce vitality. Immediately after landing, the fishermen act quickly. A sharp knife is plunged into the fish's neck to swiftly end its struggle, preventing it from thrashing. Then the belly is cut open, the internal organs removed, washed with seawater, and the fish is stored in the cold room. On smaller boats without freezers, the fish is placed on ice and covered, and the boat immediately heads back to shore to preserve freshness. Each fish is a hard-won victory. a testament to the endurance and skill of the handline fishermen. Tuna fishing is no job for the weak. It demands physical strength, sharp intellect, and courage. Fishermen often work non-stop for 12 to 18 hours, their hands blistered, backs aching, but their eyes never leave the sea. They are not just fishermen, they are warriors and artists, engaged in a direct dialogue with nature. On every boat, every simple fishing line embodies an ancient cultural heritage. Despite the hardships within the vastness of the ocean, the craft keeps its purest and most beautiful spirit alive. When the first light of dawn breaks through the clouds, the fishermen are ready for a new day. Their hands are swollen from pulling lines, their eyes tired from lack of sleep, but their spirit remains unbroken. They bend down once again, skillfully casting the coiled lines, just as they have done thousands of times before. That simple motion carries memories and the refined skill honed over many years. The fishing line slowly sinks into the clear water, carrying the hopes, challenges, and aspirations of the fishermen. At dawn, the sea is as calm as a sheet of glass, reflecting the light like a mirror. The fishermen can see shadows of fish gliding beneath the boat, schools of yellowfin tuna swimming together like silver bullets streaking through the water. They watch the bait carefully, often letting it drift naturally before deciding when to drop the hook. Sometimes they fake a quick pull on the line to mimic a fleeing prey, triggering the tuna's hunting instincts. With just a tug of the hand, the line tightens, the fish lunges to bite the bait, and the battle begins. The fishermen rely not only on strength, but also on keen sensitivity to every subtle reaction from the fish. Some tuna charge straight along the line, while others spin beneath the surface, pulling the line in wide circles on the water. The fishermen constantly adjust their positions, sometimes sitting, sometimes standing, sometimes leaning back, using their full body weight to control the line. Sweat drips on the slick deck as their hands grip tight, eyes tracking the white foam splashing on the water as if a storm is raging. Many tuna, when drawn close to the side of the boat, unleash a powerful final thrash. Sometimes the fishing line cuts into the fisherman's hands, leaving red, burning marks. The fish may leap out of the water as if to declare it won't surrender easily. The unforgettable sight of a bluefin tuna nearly 2 meters long, weighing hundreds of kilograms, thrashing wildly on deck, mouth wide open showing strong teeth, its scales sparkling like diamonds. This image stays etched in memory. On small boats, the life of tuna fishermen is incredibly simple. Their beds are hard wooden planks, the stove a cast iron pot set under the wind. Meals consist of salted fish soup, cold rice, and plain water. But on every face is a determined, quiet, and enduring spirit. Some began their sea life at just 13 years old, wrestling with waves for over 40 years. They might be illiterate or unfamiliar with technology, but just by smelling the wind and touching the water, they can tell whether the day will bring fish. No school teaches these skills. Only time and the ocean forge the fishermen of the tuna seas. Especially in famous areas like the Kuroshio Current near Japan's coast or the tropical South Pacific, longline fishing boats often operate in small groups, keeping distance to avoid collisions and disturbing the schools of fish. Everyone understands the unspoken rule: mutual respect. On the sea, trust and solidarity are a matter of survival. When one boat is in trouble or someone falls overboard, other boats rush to help without hesitation. In the tuna fishing trade, there is no room for selfishness or rivalry. Only survival based on collective spirit and mutual support. Sometimes, during long fishing trips that last for days, fishermen encounter pods of dolphins swimming alongside their boats or flying fish skimming across the water's surface. These creatures seem to bring good luck, a small comfort amid the harsh journey. When night falls, the moonlight scatters across the water, shimmering like gold. The fishing line is quietly cast, and the fishermen sit still, waiting for a bite. Some hum lullabies to soothe their homesickness, while others silently gaze toward the horizon, waiting for the dawn. Tuna don't always appear. Sometimes there's success, other times failure. A trip might yield only a few fish, but occasionally the catch is abundant, with fish covering the deck, leaving no room to step. Every time a large tuna is hauled aboard, the entire boat erupts in joyful celebration. The fish are stored neatly in the cold hold, tagged and lined up. The fishermen wipe the sweat from their brows, smile, and bend down to prepare for the next cast. Each fishing line is a link between humans and nature, simple and rugged, yet filled with skill, courage, and deep understanding of the ocean. The fishermen speak little. What they have is persistence, precision, and endurance. They pour their entire lives into every cut, every cast, every pull. In the vast ocean where life and death are separated by just a wave, tuna fishermen quietly endure, becoming living legends. As dusk falls, the sea turns a magical silver gray, and the world sinks into silence, broken only by the sound of waves lapping against the hull and the wind whistling through the cables. After a long day of hauling lines, the fishermen's hands are exhausted, yet they do not rest. There is an unspoken truth. Sunset is when tuna are most active, leaping to the surface to feed. Experienced fishermen know that missing this moment means all day's effort could be wasted. The line is cast again, this time with carefully prepared bait, sometimes live squid or a fresh cut of fish, the scent of blood mingling with seawater, sending invisible signals that attract fish from afar. The fishermen's silhouettes appear clearly in the faint golden light aboard the boat, each watching their own line closely, eyes following every tiny twitch. It's a tense game. One moment of distraction could mean losing the precious catch. There's a moment every fisherman remembers, feeling the first strong, fierce tug on the line. The fish has bitten and begun to fight back violently. The line tightens to the breaking point, the rough gloves scraping against it with a sharp sound. The battle begins again. In that instant, no one speaks. The fishermen stand tall, eyes fixed on the water, hands gripping the line tightly, using their whole body strength to maintain control.